Robschild, no investment advice. Welcome to the show where we view the financial markets using Benjamin Graham's investment philosophy, macro, technicals, and a touch of crystal ball gazing. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025. Today's episode begins with the headline, Dr. Copper defeated with knockout punch. The bulls and Dr. Copper tried to drive it all the way up to $5 and almost 40 cents and got knocked out by the bears driving it down. This is a humongous reversal signal here. I was very surprised on Tuesday to see the large green candle come after a pretty obvious signs of a reversal in copper the prior 3 days. But today's candle, for me, for now, looks like a knockout punch. I expect copper to go down. But that's just a chart pattern. That's just a crystal ball rating. That's not the main thing here. Really, across markets, I didn't find very much interesting today. That was the most interesting thing of the day. So you might as well stop watching now. I mean, I'll do my regular show, though. By the way, I have no show Thursday. I'm not doing a show Thursday. I'll be back Saturday to cover Thursday and Friday's markets. And that's a wrap. That's pretty much it. I'll get through the charts in a moment, do my regular thing, but I am still short gold. Like I said, I'm looking to sell this particular fund when it gets to $8.25. I have a limit sell order. Again, this is just a tiny little speck of my portfolio, just a little speculative position. Nothing to do with Graham, little to do with macro. But yeah, nothing really else to talk about today. And as I said, for community topics, there is no Thursday show. I'm going to a very remote, very, very remote place that has no Wi-Fi, no cell service, no light, actually, for a day or two. So it should be fun. But yeah, no show for Thursday. I'll do the weekend update on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And then coming up later this week for the calendar, of course, tomorrow we have Q4 GDP coming out, the second revision. Again, if this is revised down, it can help the bear case for those of us like me that see an economic slowdown coming. And we have M2 velocity also coming out Thursday, which, can rock things around. And Friday, of course, the best inflation gauge, or rather the favorite of the Federal Reserve, PCE, personal consumption expenditures. Again, as always, thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, and supporting. I love not feeling alone on this wonderful investment journey. We'll get to the charts when we get to them. If you want to hear me explain my daily reminders, which I think are still very relevant and very important, watch Macro Update 211.25. Only update, the PE of the S&P 500 dropped from 29 to 28 today. Other than that, honestly, no real changes. One thing I'll just note here while it's up, the energy sector outperforming. When energy is outperforming, as this chart shows from Fidelity, when that sector is double plus, that's typically the late, right before the recession hits. And I find it very noteworthy that the 1 month performance and 3 month performance of the different sectors, energy is number one by like a long shot at this point right now. Anyway, everything is still saying we are indeed still on the edge of the storm and not in it yet. Watch Portfolio Update 211.25 to hear me explain my crystal ball ratings and portfolio. Only change, like I said on my show yesterday, and I did a walkthrough, I bought this stock. We'll start with the SPX, the S&P 500, with yesterday's doji little candle here. I was expecting a bit more of at least a fight at this zone, maybe acting as a bull flag heading up to that golden box area that Figuring Out Money YouTuber has been talking about. We had a engulfing red candle today, massive to the downside. This might be short-lived. Apparently this has somewhat to do with the tariff announcements again. I don't really know what's going on, and nor can I tell where Mr. Market wants to go from here. I'm not confidently bullish or bearish in the immediate short term. The advanced decline line doesn't help while we had a large move to the downside. We had the advanced decline line actually ticking slightly upwards today, suggesting more stocks actually went up than down. So, you know, the gambling money in, you know, these companies that have way too much speculation in them, the mega caps, obviously took a lot of the hit today. The VIX as well, the fear gauge of options contracts, not spiking to the upside, just kind of a bump here. And so it's in limbo. The markets are in limbo as far as I'm concerned. TLT, my favorite place to be, as I'm actually have been expecting. It dropped a little bit today. After this head and shoulders pattern, it does look like it wants to fill this gap here, and I'm expecting it to get there at this point. And if I can free up any cash at that point, if other things play out and I'm able to sell them, I'll be buying TMF in this range. Another chart that happened to catch my eye today, HYG, high yield corporate bonds. Although we don't get to see junk bond credit spreads until tomorrow morning, you know, HYG having a pretty good move down today tells me maybe we're going back into credit spreads spreading mode again, which can give legs for the bears overall in markets, but hard to say. I almost actually titled this video, instead of talking about Dr. Copper, "Nothing happened in markets" with 3 exclamation points. Anyway, moving on, crude oil getting to that $70 target. Chartists better than me believe that this is the top, and we'll see if that holds true. I don't know. It's just me and my crystal ball here, thinking that we might get there. We might actually turn to the downside from here. I'm hearing a lot of chartists talk about that. I don't know why. I don't have reason on my own. I kind of just have to, when it comes to chart reading, I prefer to use other people. But, you know, I dabble and it's fun. So there you go. In a nutshell, no major data, nothing blowing up, nothing calming down. Things just flopping around, kind of being a little boring today. At least that's the way I see it, but what do I know? I'm just a guy with a crystal ball, and that's all from me and my crystal ball. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Robschild.